I want to go back just from the books, but back in history a little bit. You became chair. And one of the major events in NCLD's history occurred when you were chair of the board, and you led this effort. And there was a summit in Washington, D.C. in 1994. And it was a stellar cast that you were able to pull together. Your co-chair of the event was Senator Chris Dodd.
Who helped me tremendously.
Yeah,
I mean, he was able to get Hillary Clinton for me.
And so when she was then a first lady, so
yeah.
she keynoted it, and you had the secretaries of 4 different departments
yeah.
in the executive branch, education, HHS, and labor and justice, I believe. I was not there for that event, but that event lives on, not just as part of NCLD history, but members of our professional advisory board who were involved.
There, yeah.
Dr. Tom Hare, for example, who's at Harvard. Those were the years when he was in the Department of Education, leading special education for the Department of Ed. And he himself talks about the impact of that event and what it did for learning disabilities. What were you trying to do with that event?
Well, I was trying to get NCLD to Washington.
Right? Okay, good.
And so
we're there. We are still there.
You're there. And I think that was the first time that any organization had that much, so many people come from the top.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted NCLD to be right out there. It is the best organization in the field. And it sort of started then in Washington, I think, don't you? I mean, that event really put us on the map, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Absolutely. And NCLD had a role in some of the legislation because of that.
There was a reauthorization of the special education law that was happening at that time. And I know that summit conference influenced the legislation. And the work you did put us on the map. I thank you for that. And allowed us to move forward with our policy and advocacy work so that, at this moment we are absolutely leading the way on not just learning disabilities, but a broader range of some school reform issues, other activities related to disability, school accountability issues in public education. So thank you for doing that. Thank you. It's made a huge difference. It really allows us to sustain a lot of the changes and the progress that any organization would want to make, but that you were making possible in the 90s and in the early 2000s. And that kind of change in law really is now sustained.